Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to our listeners, but hi, Abe, I guess.
Oh.
And hey, Swain.
Hey, did you see how I professionally waited for you to address me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello, Abraham.
Hi.
Welcome to the adult.
Yay!
Welcome to the adult table.
Yay!
You're
We
finally
can't
here.
send you back where you came from.
Aw. They're mean there.
They throw stuff at you.
They say that we cover dinosaurs, but they're not really dinosaurs.
They said they didn't know what a clade was.
Well, today I will be presenting you guys with a dinosaur whose name I will have to shorten because it's hitting exactly where I used to have a speech impediment, and I know I pronounced the last one wrong, all right? I didn't do this. I'm not a paleontologist. I'm just some nerd.
Editor's note: for more on Bridgett's speech impediment, see previous issues of Rough Stuff.
Yes. So today I will be presenting you all at this grown-up table with the Quetzalcoatlus.
Quaddles?
Nailed it.
That's yeah.
Killed
that's-
it. I had to say it slowly.
I know how
I'm
it's
sure.
I know how it's spelled because that Quexel.
Well, Quetzalcoatl
Quexel or Quexel?
Quetzal.
Quexel.
is a.
Quetzal.
Quetzal.
Oh,
Like
I'm
Wetzel's
gonna,
pretzels,
I'm gonna-
but Quetzals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Really? I think it's
Maybe I'm wrong.
Quetzal.
I mean, I listened to a
'Cause
lot of
Quetzalcoatl.
Google.
Really?
Quetzalcoatl is
Well, the modern bird in the
it's like a
sorry,
bird.
I was just in Guatemala and they have lots of quetzals and they say
Quetzals?
quetzal, but that
Might be Quetzal.
could be because they're from Central America. Like they could say it differently.
I've listened to the Google pronunciation a couple times, and
Okay.
it had two different versions.
But like the nice British lady says, quetzal.
Quetzal. Yes, exactly. And that is the one that I
Sure.
am gonna go with and probably call it Quetz.
Quetz?
Ooh, quetz.
Quetz.
I'm gonna
Quetz,
go with
quetz.
QC.
Yeah,
QC?
I'm gonna shorten this just for so I don't get yelled at again.
That's fine.
So you're gonna call it quetz?
I'm gonna call.
I was gonna say it. I thought about it and then I said no.
Oh.
And then he did it.
That's the difference between you and me. I'm the Kaiser Soze of comedians. I'm willing to say things you won't say.
You call me a coward. You're calling me a coward.
You're the verbal Kent. No, you're the Kevin Spacey
Okay.
of our trio.
Okay. Okay. Back to the kids' table for me then.
All right, baby
By
driver.
choice.
Why don't you scoot along?
By choice.
All right. Well, I came across this because I was originally going to do. I wanted to do a tiny one. I wanted to do what you did and go small. And then as I was researching the dinosaur that I was going to do, I was led. It was apparently like an ancestor of this guy, which was also known as the feathered serpent god. Which
Nice.
is what pulled
Yeah.
me into. I was like, oh, I got to change
Well,
courses now.
Quetzalcoatl is a deity I know related
Yeah,
to, I believe,
exactly.
Mayan folklore. I hope
Yes.
it could be Incan, but I think it's
No,
Mayan.
I think
It
it's
is-
actually
it is
Stone
Mayan.
Temple Pilot song.
It's a stone, yeah.
But yeah, Quetzalcoatl, fun to say.
Yeah. It is actually named after a Mayan god. So
Yeah.
you are right.
Nice.
And I now believe in whatever that religion is because I want to pray to a feathered serpent
Well,
god.
get ready for human sacrifices.
Yeah.
My girlfriend and I were just in Belize for a week, and we went into a cave that they like did drug and bloodletting rites in that they believed was passes to Shibolba, the underworld, and it was fucking awesome in there.
That is so metal.
And the best story from the guide was that he and his buddies, as part of a thesis paper, got paid like tens of thousands of dollars to reenact it. So imagine as part of academia, these are like
You take
high-level
drugs and
cultural
stab each other?
professors. They went into a cave, fasted for 3 days, did booze enemas, and did like old-timey acid.
Cool.
And like just danced and hung out in a cave for 3 days. And that was like their research project that they got government funds to do.
Cool.
Pretty rad.
Pretty rad. Yeah, this Quetzal lived in North America in like the Texas region 70 million years ago. So that's the like mid to late Cretaceous period.
Yeah.
And real quick, this is a real big dino.
Yeah.
And I want to show you guys a picture of him.
All right.
Because he's crazy looking.
Whoa.
What?
He's like a giant flying derp of a yeah.
He looks like the Concorde airplane.
Yeah, he does. He looks like
what the one that has a little nose that juts down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
This
Like
is
super
so
speed.
quickly dated, but at this moment in time, there's a tweet going around. You guys seen the tweet? That's a picture of a shoe-bill pelican.
no.
Okay. Well, you can look it up at any
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
It looks like a shoe-bill pelican if you grab the pelican by the head and
swing
just like Stretch Armstrong
Yeah.
its neck out. Yeah. Yeah.
It is long in almost every.
It is
like,
long.
It has a huge wingspan and a giant neck. I don't know how this thing got. Well, I do because I researched it. But the way this thing it's a flying dinosaur, so it had to get in the air, but it couldn't quite run because it was so big. So assuming that it did fly, it had like these muscular front legs and these tiny, tiny back legs. And it just had to like launch itself with its front legs off a cliff and just like glide
Hope
and
for the
hope
best.
and like use those back legs as a
Oh
rudder.
wow!
Did
So
you-
it was like more of a glider.
Did you guys
Yeah.
ever see The Dark Crystal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a part where I forget what animal it's supposed to be, but the puppeteer is clearly, rather than traditional Muppeteering, they're always trying to innovate
Yeah.
at Jim Henson Company.
Yeah.
They had people learn to run on 4 stilts, run on all 4 legs, but with stilts, and put them in a giant like Mylar sack so it stretches and looks weird. And they look exactly like this thing if you add the head. This is, for some reason, because the creepy factor, this is the first dinosaur we've covered. This is nightmare fuel to me.
It's
Really? If
this
Salvador
were, like-
Dali's version of
It's
a bird.
very Muppet-like.
Because if it were awkwardly running at
Yeah.
you on its like wing elbows
Yeah.
and a neck that's like 8 feet long and its
Oh.
head is just like snapping, it really looks like a Jim Henson Muppet to me.
it seems like, and this is kind of like a weird
And it's
mashup.
as big as a fucking giraffe.
Yeah, it's
But
huge.
it's mostly neck like a giraffe.
Yeah, and its wingspan is insane. Its wingspan had
Much bigger than a giraffe.
Yeah, that's
wingspan.
gotta
Yeah.
be bigger than
It's-
like most small planes.
yeah, it's roughly the size of like a private jet.
yeah.
If you've seen a private jet,
Imagine you look up and you see that motherfucker flying at you.
terrifying. Its wingspan had an average of 30 feet.
Like it would blot out the
30
sun.
feet.
30
3-story
feet.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and that's why there's like debate over whether it did actually fly. Because like if it kept these wings for 50 million years down the
Right.
evolutionary line, why wouldn't it still fly?
Why would
But-
they be vestigial? But then maybe there's
Yeah.
a period where they did fly, and
Yeah.
then a period where they got bigger and didn't
And then
fly,
they just got too big?
but had wings.
But I like to imagine it flew because
I mean, they're leather wings.
Yeah.
They're not raptors,
Yeah.
so it's like a bat wing type
Yeah.
thing. If you're
Yeah.
imagining this in your mind,
It doesn't look like there's a lot of mass. Obviously, it's a flying animal.
Yeah.
It's a pelican giraffe.
No,
it's a
it's
giraffe-sized
it's like-
pelican.
it's like Snuffleupagus if it was a bird, if that makes sense.
It's a pelican
Yeah.
giraffe
But if
bat.
Snuffleupagus had was mostly fur,
Yes,
because
Well,
it doesn't look meaty. It looks like the Kevin
Oh,
Durant.
you mean if you
of-
shaved Snuffleupagus and it turned out he was
He was
tiny
just like
underneath?
just like
It didn't-
emaciated
yeah,
little.
Exactly. It had like this leathery skin. It's not feathered.
Yeah.
So it just had like this leathery skin and is often referred to as a flying reptile, which
Yeah.
again,
And a god.
nightmares.
So,
Nightmares.
So dope, bro.
Yeah, it's
you gotta love artistic interpretations of dinosaurs
love 'em.
because the one thing, it's like playing a video game where you can change the skins.
Yeah.
They're like, I can do whatever I want on. So there's hundreds.
Yeah.
Where it looks like, yeah, that makes sense. Those are natural colors that would blend into the environment.
Yeah.
And there's one where he's like, sure, I'll draw what it looks like, but I'm giving it tiger stripes like Garfield.
Yeah.
You're
Doing-
like, why would
yeah.
it be that? There's no
Doing
reason.
this podcast, that has become my favorite part of dinosaur fandom. Is just artist renderings. That are
Right.
just like, it's just a head with wings. And then I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh no, it's a
I do
normal looking
love-
thing.
I
Yeah.
will
Right.
post this on the show page. I found a great one where
That's great.
Like, you know how
It's
pelicans
just gotta gullet.
Yeah. Scoop
pelicans
things
will
up, yeah.
scoop like a small bird and just keep it in its maw until it
Yeah.
suffocates.
Yeah.
Which also gave me nightmares as a kid, seeing a pelican eat
Oh,
another
really?
living creature. Yeah, because they'll
It's alive for a while.
scoop up a rat. Seriously, this is what I saw at the pier. A pelican scooped up a wharf rat and it doesn't like chew or anything. It just waits for it to die from thrashing around in its mouth.
Yeah, it just like wiggles it around and then
And
leans its head
some,
back.
Yeah, it's got some muscle pressure, so it's like crushing it a little.
But for a while, its jaw was just like a loose bag with something inside
it's
trying
just-
to survive.
It's like a death jowl.
Well, this
I don't-
has that, and someone drew a picture of a smaller dinosaur just being swallowed alive by this thing.
I don't get the fear of pelicans, but I get the fear of something like being alive in your gullet, like something moving around while you're trying to swallow.
The idea that so many of our ancestors, small mammals, died by being swallowed whole and dissolved by stomach acid or suffocating in the esophagus.
Delicious.
I don't want to keep talking about it. Can we change the subject?
It's really
Bridgett?
bothering. I'll talk about this dinosaur that probably did that.
I love this flying snake monster.
Yeah, feathered serpent god.
Yeah,
even though it wasn't feathered, but
It was God.
but it was.
Recent biblical scholars have proven this is God.
Well, especially when you hear if it did fly, it would fly at a height of about 10 to 15,000 feet.
What?
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
What?
That's
And-
low for a jet, but that's like...
And also at a speed
it's-
of around 80 to 100 miles per hour.
That makes sense.
What the fuck is this fucking
That makes sense. It's pretty windy up there.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Something
No,
that
but the height.
at that height, zooming around. If it fell,
Oh,
an
and they
earthquake.
did, because
They must have.
I'm
what
sure
are,
they just
uh,
died in flight
right.
sometimes.
yeah, because they just glided. They
What
didn't
are
fly.
commercial airliners like 30,000 feet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
to 35, I think.
So, because even a hawk, you'll be like, imagine the view
Yeah.
from up there. Wow, the
Yeah.
clouds and the blah, blah, blah. Imagine the view you have when you're at the top of your plane flight
Yeah.
and the guy says, we're at cruising altitude, you can get up and move around the cabin.
Yeah.
And you look out and there's a pelican the size of a giraffe that's just like,
just like
I am also here.
Under you,
Yeah.
that could like land on your plane and probably like.
And
Yeah,
imagine
it's
being
like-
that thing.
it's-
That's its view when it's
Yeah.
hunting. It's like, there is the earth, my domain.
Yeah, but that's it. Didn't like people. Paleontologists are relatively unsure of its diet, but they don't think it feasted on like big things. They think it feasted on like
Lesser gods.
Yeah, like small terrestrial animals, or like a pelican, just skimmed over the water with its mouth open and just like scooped up the fish swimming close to the surface.
They're the Star Destroyer. It's like the first shot of the first Star Wars if you're a fish. You're
Yeah.
like, oh God,
Oh,
the
no.
shadow thing is coming.
And there's nothing I can do about that.
And it just is going to scoop like 80 cubic feet of water
Right.
up.
I just like,
Yeah, just scoop up all the fish.
yeah, it's just drown the small lake while
Just
it's
a
at it.
sky
Yeah.
whale.
Yeah. It's really terrifying. They also think it might have been a scavenger, which is
Okay.
also kind of scary to think about something that big, just like, oh, there's a dead thing. Let me descend on it.
I was reading also that a lot of paleontologists think the ones that weren't feathered, and there's argument about which were feathered, which weren't feathered, probably shed their skins like snakes or lizards.
Oh my God.
And we were talking about the Dreadnoughtus, and for some reason before I had never thought about, even though I saw Jurassic Park and they have that Triceratops scene, thing that you don't imagine sometimes when you imagine like imagine Dinotopia or like back in those times, massive piles of shit everywhere,
Gross.
dinosaurs eating shit, dinosaurs eating each other's skin, each other's babies, giant piles of dead skin, like everywhere.
Also, I'm at this thing is huge. Again, 3 times bigger than the biggest flying thing alive today, which is the Andean condor. 3 times bigger than that.
Damn.
It's really big, and assuming that, I don't know if this is true or not, it did fly like as often as birds did. I don't know if it's how much time it spent in the air versus land.
I don't know if they could know that.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't even know if it did fly. But if it took a dump mid-air like birds do,
Yeah,
that
maximum
might have been
velocity shits, dude.
that might have been the meteor. That might have been the meteor.
They took a dump the size of, let's say, a VW bug, because that's my favorite unit of
That's a
comparison
lot
on
of
this.
shit.
Yeah,
though.
that-
That's a lot of
Let's
shit.
say,
that's a private jet dumping
let's say,
a bug.
let's say a dump the size of a toaster oven.
Yeah.
I think that's.
But you mentioned terminal velocity. This shit is falling from 50,000.
Oh yeah,
feet.
it definitely hit max velocity.
10,000 feet.
Oh,
you said 15. 10 to 15.
10 to 15. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said 50.
Oh no, 10 to 15.
It's still amazing.
That's still high.
But yeah, standard cruising altitude for like a commercial airliner is like 30.
So
I think.
yeah, it's twice.
30 to 50. Yeah.
But yeah, but still, you're gonna reach max velocity.
Oh yeah.
So what a way to go for some poor little raptor
What
sitting
about
at the bottom and just getting
get
crushed by
dumped on.
a pile of shit.
You just got dumped on.
Abe's favorite, the Hesperonychus, just doing that thing turkeys do, where they put their necks straight up and open their mouths in the rain, and just drowns in shit.
Oh, what a way to go!
Not alive in the same era. I know. I'm mixing.
No,
my
actually,
metaphors.
fairly similar.
Fairly,
But you were
not
saying
in the
probably something not that large in that area.
5 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
May as well be
they might have been,
neighbors.
but
Also,
if your
they-
guy was
they
in
didn't
Canada,
need-
this
they-
guy was in Texas.
Yeah. They
So-
didn't need They weren't carnivores though, right?
They were carnivores, but ate like small animals.
Just because
They
you're not
didn't-
a carnivore doesn't mean you won't drown something in your shit. That's a
Oh
different-
yeah. Oh yeah.
vegetarian diets, I think would even be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
One of my favorite Harlan Ellison short stories is, and I can do it in 10 seconds or I wouldn't bring it up. And it's relevant. It's like in the far future, there's a French Revolution type thing.
Yeah.
The poor people are too oppressed and they're going from house to house, just murdering all the super rich. And the one oligarch has access to a time machine, experimental time machine, but it's in like a university and it's only set to go back to dinosaur times.
Oh, no.
But for safety, it's set for a time and place where everything's herbivorous. So he escapes by having he escapes the revolution by having his manservant like press the button and then shooting his manservant as he gets teleported. So he's a dick.
Right.
And you want him to die, and he gets there, and he's like, the perfect plan, which is funny because I'm like, how did he think he was going to survive long term anyway?
Right.
But the punchline of the short story is, it cuts to a brontosaurus's point of view, and the brontosaurus sees a thing it's never seen before and goes, is that a plant? I don't know. I'll bite it to
Munch,
find out. Crush, crush, crush. No, it's an animal. Drop it. Eat a plant. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely killed some stuff with its poo. And
That's my point is, it could be a deadly herbivore.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, at that big,
Yeah, just dropping bombs.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm imagining them. Have you ever seen eagles fight like the dudes fight to
In
prove their
midair?
mating prowess?
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they grab each other's talons
Yeah.
and just spin like a bolo free falling to see.
Right.
And then it's like a game of chicken, whoever gives up first.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend these did that.
Did you know that's also how a lot of eagles fuck too?
Maybe it's
Spinning?
They're spinning and then it's like complete
Free
or
fall.
die.
like
kind of.
climax before we hit the ground or die.
Right, because I guess
High stakes.
Dude, if you're an eagle, you're you're that type of dude.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
you're
Adrenaline
adrenaline
junkie, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like also whether you're a carnivore or herbivore or like just don't eat, you're on some sort of like Gandhi like hunger strike. If you're the size of an airplane, a being the size, you're gonna kill something.
Yeah,
Just by being that big and being around.
Yeah. When it lands, it must have because it's just like wind sails, basically. It's
exactly.
just like leathery sails.
And
it would just blow little tiny
off a cliff.
Right.
cliffs.
Oh, no! Yeah, just gets everything in the guts.
It's just massive. Yeah, it's a big bird.
Yeah, I mean, this thing's neck is also just like longer than a giraffe's neck. Its bones are crazy. Its beak bones
those are crazy bones.
are also just as long as its neck, like its mouth. I don't understand if it flew, just how the aerodynamics of this
In
guy
your
work.
research, did you come across, because in about half, if you just do a random Google image search, in about half they have like I think it's called a coxcomb.
Oh yeah, like a little,
Like a rooster, the red flesh a rooster would have on the top of their head.
Yeah,
Right.
almost all of these pictures, it has the stupid little fleshy hat.
What's that for? Even on chicken, like what is that for on a rooster? Is it just for mating attention?
I think so.
Probably,
Usually
because-
it's cartilage though, so that's one of those type of things that we're not really sure unless we can see in the bones that it used it, which usually means like a limb.
Yeah, well, it did. Ooh, sorry.
I'm learning so much about chickens doing this podcast. They don't have knees and their heads are made of cartilage.
All true. It did have like that thing in this fossil that we're looking at. That bone is there.
Yeah, it has
it's
a
a
ridge.
little protrusion of bone.
Yeah.
That is atypical.
It looks like the Bridgett source. It looks like stubby tails attached to the top of its head.
Here's the sad thing. I'm pretty sure, guys, that's its skull.
What do you
where
mean?
its brain lived?
That's
You
how
think
big
that's
its brain.
That's the brain house.
That's the brain house, and it's very tiny.
Oh,
So now you know chicken brains are in that little red
But
cartilage.
relatively, it's probably got. It's not like a small-ish. I mean, it's. I mean,
dinosaur
brain.
reptiles have tiny little
brains.
pea brains.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this thing probably. I was also reading just general dino facts that, because you wonder why the clade of, I believe. I'm not gonna get it right. No. Like the brontosaurus looking clade.
Sauropods.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you're just tuning in, because we fucking didn't know till we started the show, clade means just a branch of the evolutionary tree. So the branch of the evolutionary tree that you would identify as what layman would be like, oh, they all look like brontosauruses, or like the dinosaur kid draws in crayon with the big hump and the long neck.
Yeah.
The long neck was like an arms race of the same evolutionary advantage, which is whoever can eat the leaves at the top that no one else can eat won't go extinct.
Right.
Which is the same reason giraffes evolved that way. But it's interesting to me that there was a time where many species were just trying to get longer neck. Like how we have big brains and opposable thumbs. They're like, you guys are idiots. It's all about neck length.
It's all about neck.
Neck length is the main advantage on this earth.
You can be an idiot, but as long as you have a long neck, you're fine.
But this guy wouldn't have had to do that, right? Because he was probably scooping stuff out of the sea. He was probably
scooping stuff out of the ocean or scavenging and eating
Probably
small.
had some pretty good eyes at 10,000 feet.
See, I like the one, we have... I guess a lot of blank spots if you're holding us to the standards of a professional scientist, but
which again we are not.
But we know even the least about just like evolutionary macrobiology. Like I wonder, so why did this thing have a long neck?
It's weird because it is not a sauropod. It's and I'm gonna mess this up too. It's a pterosaur.
No, I think that's right, pronunciation-wise.
Okay,
I don't know if the information's right.
Pterosaur. Sauropod and pterosaur.
Yeah. Pterosaur. It's a pterosaur.
Pterosaur. I don't know what a pterosaur is. But I assume flying creatures.
Yeah. I think, mostly flying creatures.
Yeah. Like genus is Dinosauria. And then clade, I believe, is like the difference between a sauropod or like a flying dinosaur. Like it's just one or two levels down.
I did, because I care about words so much, I really went in deep on clade. Clade can be any domain on the evolutionary tree, if you know what I mean. You can define the clade however you want. Mm-hmm. It just means from this common ancestor I pick, everything down, descending from that point forward.
So you can start at any point.
The biggest branch we found connected to the biggest branch we found, connected to the biggest branch.
Exactly. But technically, all life on Earth is one clade. If you say, I'm commenting on the clade.
Well, there's Animalia.
Which,
I forget what that designation is. It's probably...
Animals and plants is the first separation, I think, in the, pyramid
which is
of life.
Not that useful in terms of
this was an animal.
But isn't the belief that even before that, also plants and animals are from the same single-celled organism?
Mm-hmm.
It's
not right. Well, then wouldn't you be able to go back to single and multi-cell as the?
And before that, there was the flying serpent god.
And then there was flying serpent god and everything else. And this was that one thing. No, because the original dinosaur I'm going to do, and we might get around to at some point, was the Nemicalopterus, which is apparently related to this, but is like a tiny, meter, not even meter, 10 centimeter long.
Now we're talking tiny, little buddies.
Yeah, I looked for, smallest dinosaur when I originally did this, and then took a big old left turn. But they're ancestors, so it came from this little 10 meter
little
long
tiny guy.
Little tiny guy. That was
flying
also
at 10,000 feet.
that was also well. That makes more sense to me.
At 100 miles an hour. If he hits your windshield, it's like a bullet.
He's,
dude.
yeah, he's a little bullet.
right through.
He doesn't even hurt him. He
Yeah.
just goes through
Yeah,
the windshield.
what was that?
Kill shot. Kill shot.
He's
Kill
just
shot.
a bullet from nature's gun.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, this huge thing came from this tiny little bird.
So that must just mean
the
a lot of
pterosaur.
food available, you know?
bunch
Yeah,
of
it just grew
resources
big
or
and strong.
something.
It drank a lot of milk and got
I
big
mean,
and strong.
The early
I'm
early
forgetting
days,
which way it went. If this was before or after the Nemiclopterus.
Mammals drink milk, Bridgett. Dinosaurs drink Sunny Delight.
Of course. I was wondering where you're going with that.
They're weaned on Sunny D.
yeah, it's Sunny Delight. But I mean, like most of the bigger dinosaurs and bigger animals during this time and insects, or not this time, aren't the Cretaceous period. It's more of the Triassic, because that's when the oxygen was rich.
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
Yes, of course.
No,
Makes
you both have a better handle on. I'm bad with the eras. Is Cretaceous towards the end or the beginning of the movie?
Yeah,
of
late
dinosaur
Cretaceous.
time?
Like so,
Okay.
hers is 70 million years ago.
Yeah.
They went extinct 65 million years ago.
Yes.
Sure.
That's where the event happened.
The KT event.
The
they call
KT,
it.
yeah.
Time is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time is crazy.
Don't get me started on BC and AD.
Yeah, they're about
Know what I
40.
mean?
Dinosaurs around for about 40 times as long as us so far. I think, according to
Yeah, they
Wikipedia
were-
search
oh,
this
hell
morning.
yeah.
But of
200
course,
million
it's
years ago
arguable.
to
Yeah.
Every time I
150
research on the
million
show,
years.
We're
I
like
get
1.8 million
Yeah.
years now going of humans, depending on where you cut it. But you can cut it lots of different places.
Yeah.
right. That's why I always get
This
so
is just
confused
according to
in my research.
Wikipedia
Yeah.
this morning. Yeah.
I always get wrapped up in the research of like, what am I looking up when I try to find the time frames it lived? I was like, so is this how long it lived before we were around, or
Right.
how long it lived in general? I get there's always a moment in research where I'm like, I get lost in like the time span of this all. But yeah, Abe is right in that this was 70 million years ago, so about 65 million years
Yeah.
before we were alive.
Well,
Well,
I
don't
It's
know
like
how long it roamed
the distance
Earth.
between Stegosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex is larger than Tyrannosaurus Rex and us.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I was researching and was like, I feel like I have enough notes. This seems like it would cover like 30 to 40 minutes. And I was like, wait, all I know is what a clade is. Like, it's easy to get diverted because there's so much lingo. Yeah.
Yeah, and also
Open your mind, Clay.
yeah, it's dinosaurs is confusing. They is real good, but they is confusing.
He's real good. But
They
these
is Quetzal confusal.
that one's good.
Hey,
Man, imagine being a fish
and
that just got scooped up
And you're like, fish.
and
fish,
you are
fish.
immediately hefted thousands of feet into the air of an environment totally foreign to you, and you're about to go down what, a 40-foot tube, a 40-foot neck roll.
I have to imagine.
It's gonna take a while.
I have to imagine, and I hope it was a quick death, because that is a terrifying roller coaster that ends in certain death.
It was probably not. But it's probably like Venture Brothers, or this is a cool way to die.
No, that's Futurama.
Oh, that's
sir.
Futurama.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, this the Quetzalcoatlus was responsible for a lot of, like, on the spectrums of death, terrible, from just getting shat on by it from up in the air to like kind of cool where you go down this crazy water slide, you know?
Depressurizing and exploding because you're swiftly brought up to 50,000 feet and your body doesn't know how to adjust to that.
I mean, whether that's a good or bad way to die is up to you, but I imagine it like a big water slide.
Pretty rad.
I imagine it as the fishes, again, Schwarzenegger in Total Recall, the eyes bulging.
Yeah,
scene.
everything is happening at once.
Just swallow me, air giraffe, for the love of God, end this now.
This air giraffe.
I mean, it makes sense why it's called a god, because it is just like at that big, you're just you are the life and death of everything around you.
You can fly, so even
Death
if
from
it
above.
cohabitated with Dreadnoughtus, which is way bigger, obviously, it would still be like, right. But
I
the
would
air, I can go to the air.
I would love to see that fight between these two big old clumsy
There's
dinos.
a few dinos matchups we've got already I want to see fight.
Yeah. Fuck
I want to see Dreadnoughtus versus Glyptodon because they're described as like, oh, the thing that cannot be broken and the thing that can crush anything.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Fears nothing.
Yeah.
Dino
also,
fights.
I want to ask about your guys' logic because last time for our very first session, we all three went with high defense dinos, and people called us out on it. And I think we all said off mic when we were leaving, "Yo, I'll probably pick something super ruthless and violent." And then all secretly went home and searched tiny, cute dinosaur. Why did we do that?
I didn't do that. I looked for the most fucked up looking motherfucker.
But
that
you
I
did
could
land
find.
on a pretty little buddy.
Yeah, he was a little buddy. It's true.
I mean, you
He
love the
happened to-
crazy looking ones, the scruffy guys, you know?
He was like a few feet. Yeah.
I tried to go with tiny, and then I got wrapped up in feathered serpent god. I mean, how could you not take that
the
when
big
that's in
ones
front
are
of
real
you?
sexy though.
Yeah.
There's
Big,
something
sexy dinos.
something big sexy.
Yeah,
Dinosaur.
that grabs you. But I
that
guess
big dino energy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Not a little tiny.
We like these
Yeah.
thick dinosaurs.
I love my thick, curvy dinosaur. I don't care who knows it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something so appealing when, I was looking up this tiny dinosaur, which was basically just a head with wings. It looked like something I would draw as like a 5-year-old when I was like making up an animal. But then again, feathered serpent god. You gotta take that when it's sitting there.
Sometimes the universe just kind of gives you a shoe in when you're just like, all right, let's run with it.
That was a freebie.
Exactly.
That was a freebie.
Yeah, there was no rhyme or reason to this one. I did want to do a tiny cute guy because I want to find the cutest dinosaur.
Yeah.
Because they're not cute. Like, they're not.
Naturally.
They're
cute.
not. Yeah. I mean, you can find the beauty in anything.
I would like to find one that is low profile that at least a healthy chunk of the audience will actually go, I didn't know there was such a cute dinosaur. That dinosaur's really cute.
I want to get as close to Dino and the Flintstones as I possibly can.
Okay.
Something that I would genuinely want to recreate as a pet.
I believe that. Oh, no, that's right. Okay. I forgot. I was like, I believe that zeitgeist-wise, he is an official breed, but then I remember his breed is Dinosaurus. He's just a dinosaur. He's a generic dinosaur.
I mean, he has a long neck, so he must be some sort of sauropod.
Yeah. That's an episode.
But I mean, that's wrong.
We identify the taxonomy
of just cultural dinosaurs.
Yeah, well, I was thinking just going hard on Dino.
On Dino,
the dinosaur no one cares about anymore. Yeah.
Well, the Nemiclopterus one I was going to compare it to the squawk. It's a living bird. Because it kind of looked like that, and that's why also I wanted to try to go with it. But I mean, this guy's a monster.
Yeah.
He's a crazy looking flying monster.
It's the scariest one for my money so far.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's not even that big of a predator.
I know I said Salvador Dali, but actually the more I look at it, it looks Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
With like the thin legs, like the long neck, like it
it's
looks
very
like something
thin.
from the War of the Worlds.
Right, because it's like
the tripods.
Yeah, it looks like something that, I mean, it literally did come from the sky.
It's an alien.
Yeah, because it's so thin. For something that big to be that thin is very unsettling visually.
Yeah, that's what she said. Sorry.
Hey!
It's big, but it's thin. It's very unsettling. It's a me, Waluigi.
With the linguini dick.
I got a little linguini dick, long like a mama used to make.
Yeah, I walked into that. I mean, you had to take it. I walked in.
Well, I had this big cue card that said "set me up for a dick joke."
Yeah, it was an alley-oop.
And you really helped.
Yeah. And one of these renderings by an artist is this guy just picking up what would be, I would imagine, a relatively big sauropod and just making it look
Yeah, that's definitely
tiny.
Littlefoot right there.
Yeah, it's definitely like
Getting
a
eaten by a
brontosaurus.
pelican.
Yeah, a brontosaurus or something that is pretty large.
Yeah.
And this guy is just swinging it around at the tip of its beak, you know?
Yeah.
What do they look? You watched that movie a ton, right?
Land Before Time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't there a special leaf they're trying to hold on to?
Oh, yeah.
Is it just a good luck charm, or is it like...
It's
memories of mom.
I
Dude.
played too many video games in the intervening years. I was like, do they use that to unlock like a door to the valley at the end or something?
It's because they're looking for
they're looking for
the
a safe
land
valley where
devastation
has not
They have a
come,
name
but-
for it. It's been so long.
I
Since
know.
Green Valley or
I
something?
watched it a lot as a small child.
Oh, okay.
And my memory of it is shaky, but I do feel like they're like looking for, where this leaf goes.
Yeah.
They're
I just want to imagine
they're fossil researchers.
Quetzalcoatlus, like, Oh, yeah. No, the leaf. It's right in here. Go ahead. No, I'll just open my mouth up.
Yeah, just put it right in there.
It's a new adventure, pals. Let's go.
Aw.
Well,
Now I don't like it anymore.
I mean,
It hurt
Ducky
my
could have
fr-
been a baby one of these, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
I think Ducky's meant to be that one that grows up to be, which we'll cover in the future. I'll know that. No, grows up to be roughly human-sized, stand on the back legs, and have the horn going
Yes.
back. A patasaur? Allosaur? No, not Allosaur.
Either way, fuck Ducky.
I don't know because this podcast, as people should have picked up on by now, is research-based, not based on the fact that we all already know a lot about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But our solemn value is when the time comes to cover what Ducky is, we'll know what Ducky
what it is.
by
I
that
also want to
time.
find out what Baby Bop from Barney is. I
Never watched a second of Barney.
Okay.
Like, I don't know the world of Barney.
You don't know okay. Barney was a big part of my childhood, and Baby Bop was my touchstone because she was the little sister. And I was
did she talk?
Yeah, she talks,
Okay.
and she just wants everyone to play with her, and everyone's like, no, don't. Like,
Why?
you're
Is she
unsettling.
she's like,
yeah, did people not like Baby
people
Bop?
didn't like. No, her like older brother was like kind of a dick, and I was like, I'm Baby Bop. You're a dick, older brother. So I want to find out who Baby Bop was.
That's a real sibling dynamic for sure, where you're like, no, little sis can't play
Yeah,
with us.
I mean, it was a lot of teaching kids. Your older sibling's a dick. So
Did they do the
Fight
thing
them.
where then by the end, the older sibling would learn the
Yeah,
lesson
like-
to include them?
like Lego Movie Part 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't end on
Yeah.
her going,
Oh, no,
Barney, why
if-
can't I play? I don't know, your brother's a
Fuck
dick.
you.
Da-da-da-da-da, Barney's done.
Yeah, that's the theme song right
That
there.
is, yeah.
Were they real dinosaurs, it would just be her feasting on her brother's
On his
bones.
flesh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll eat your bones.
and
Let me play.
I'll eat you, and then just getting shat on by a
And then
Quetzalcoatlus.
she stares at camera. I bopped him.
Yeah, that's the dinosaur I'm trying to
Yeah.
find
You're trying
in
to,
all of this.
trying to bop all these fucking big brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your classic DILF. Dino I'd like to find.
Classic.
Do. But yeah, I think we can come to that time where we find out what you guys think. Is the Quetzalcoatlus real good?
First of all, your pronunciation, real good.
Thank
I wanna
you. Oh
apologize.
my God.
Oh, it got better over the course of the
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, I think
I
about
thought
it
it was
a
pretty
lot.
solid the whole time.
I think about it a lot every time I go to say it. There's a lot of wind up.
I'll go first. I did my research and I looked into my 18-point criteria and I found out that it's real good.
Nice.
Nice.
I could be even more specific than that. It's exactly as real good as 3 Andean condors stapled together.
Yes.
Like
Nice.
hurtling
Yeah.
through the sky
Wow.
successfully.
Or
High
3
praise.
Andean condors in a trench coat stacked on top of each other.
Because that's the only
Yeah.
airborne thing I'd be as afraid of these days is
Yeah.
3 Andean condors somehow
Yeah,
not stapled because I want it to be their decision. Like they're holding
Like a
wings together. You're like, uh-oh, they
Or
learned
like
how to combine.
a consensual human
And they're
centipede.
staring right at you.
Well, look, let's not judge people's sexual proclivities.
Yeah. So 3 Andean condors consensually human
So-
centipeded together.
Yeah.
So
descending upon
real
you.
Wait,
good.
is this so that the one at the back of the train has the maximal amount of shit?
Shit.
to drop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of giant.
I imagine like a
You bring a
fighter pilot.
You bring a rough stuff host onto a podcast, and they bring the poop, man.
Oh man,
Shameful poop.
I can't stop. It's a problem.
I'm
pooping.
Hey. You know,
can't
I wanted to
stop.
be in comedy since I was a child, and all I know is poop is funny. I learned nothing
It's-
else about comedy
it's real
besides
funny.
poop is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Butts
especially
in
as you've
general.
gone on, because I think we're all comedians with
Yeah.
hearts who actually do care if we offended
Yeah.
someone or made light of trauma. The line is very vague, but as you grow up, you're like, okay, there's you wade
Yeah.
into complicated issues of sexism and race and people's
Right.
feeling. Everybody poops.
Everyone poops.
It's the only thing that's like taboo. You
Right.
can still make jokes about it. No one gets offended because it's just a poop.
We all do it. No one
It's
talks
great.
about
You
it.
have to live with it.
We all do it, and no one talks about it.
Yep.
So
Everyone
we're pushing
talks
the envelope.
about it all the time.
Yeah, I talk about it a lot. Maybe too much.
People, I was just reading an essay that was talking about how like important comedy is, and like is it as important as drama and stuff like that, and that and it was like, yes, it's very important. Also, look at that butt over there. Like it's that dual nature of the sometimes it's poop jokes, sometimes it's
And they're
cutting
like,
edge satire.
But if you look closely, that butt has the Third Amendment tattooed on it.
Yeah.
Anyone see what I'm going
see
for?
where I'm going?
It's edgy, all right? It's smart comedy that we're bringing you here about dinosaur poops.
This gotcha journalism that we have on these dinosaurs.
Well, thanks, everyone.
Yeah, real good.
Yep.